Welcome to the Daily Jing for November 5th. Here's the quote of the day. Any man or woman who keeps working is not a failure. He may not be a great writer, but if he applies the old-fashioned virtues of hard, constant labor, she'll eventually make some kind of career for herself as a writer. Ray Bradbury. Let's look at the schedule. Beginning of the 11th week. We're starting the familiar essay 2 on a place or thing, starting O'Giblin, the discussion, and we're starting the summary of the assignment sheet, view and do for 4.1 and 4.2 on O'Giblin. And you'll find those in the Best Essays textbook. Okay, let's go back to the notes. So, notes on the familiar essay 2. There is not so subtle difference between the first familiar essay and the second. In the first, you looked inward, and in the second, you are looking at a place or thing that has meant something to you. The writer is always present in these two essays. In the first, he or she is writing about self or other, and in the second, that self is in the world and is reflected in the subject under examination. Say you wanted to write about yourself as a worker. At the moment, you work at the Gap. In the first familiar essay, you would use the job at the Gap as a stepping off place to explore your experience as a worker throughout your life. Work as a condition, work as something you do, work as something that makes you who you are. You would write about work as it constitutes self. You would write about how you work across a wide spectrum of jobs and activities. You would ask, who am I when I work? In the second essay, if you wanted to write about work, you would concentrate on the place where you worked, the Gap. In this essay, you would show us how your character interacts with all the other individuals that make up the Gap store experience. In this essay, you pull back from your experience as a Gap cashier and see the store ecosystem as a laboratory, a social scene, a bazaar. And in this way, you can bring in sources that talk about shopping, the modern mall, the clerk-customer relationship, the boss, etc. When you write this second paper, you might try indirection. You might, by indirection, deal with many of the same issues you dealt with in your first work paper, work as identity, etc. But in this paper, you see these things outside yourself, reflected in the place, the Gap, you are writing about. See what I mean? Question of the day, what essay are we starting today? We're starting the O'Giblin essay. All right? Okay, thank you. Bye.